Okay, so we're going to begin at the beginning, which is the Wuji stance. This is what it looks like. Okay, so if you were to come to one of my classes, that is basically how we start. Stillness. Wuji is translated as Wu meaning no and Ji meaning pole, so no polarity. There's no up or down, there's no left or right, there's no front or back. Those kinds of polarities. Which is kind of ironic because I will always talk a lot about these opposites. And I guess really what we're after is get the opposites going and then fuse them so that they just merge into one. But let's talk about those. So, we are between heaven and earth, okay? So, there's the heavens, there's the earth. These two shapes I'm making. The occiput, yeah, the very top of your spine, that wants to go up to heaven. And here is your pelvis, sacrum, yeah? The pelvis and sacrum as a pair, they want to connect to the earth. So the general principle here is, I think of like a plumb line, okay? You must hold the occiput up and then you sort of dangle your pelvis and your sacrum, yeah? Think of those parts of your body as wanting to find the earth, yeah? They want to go down and find the earth. They don't because your legs are in the way. But there is another principle there that we don't want the legs to hold and block that connection. So the legs need to be soft and receptive to allow as best as possible the pelvis and the sacrum to find the earth. So hold the heaven, that's hold your occiput up, and release the pelvis, okay? The legs are soft, yeah, so that the pelvis can find the earth. Now when we do that, there can be, you might feel your weight through your feet, okay? So you need to aim for the centres of your feet. So the pelvis wants to connect to the earth, the legs are soft, and we find our weight in the centre of our feet. Heels, front, sides, all pressed down, yeah, when the weight drops. Okay. A few more pointers. Okay, so we've got the head holding up, the sacrum falling down. That's going to lower our centre of gravity. So we think of this area, the sacrum kind of opening backwards, and the knees release. Yeah, the knees release. So what does that mean? That means we're not doing that with our knees. The back of the knees are the bits that release, okay? So the the kneecap doesn't travel when we sink. It stays over the centre of the foot, okay, but the kneecap releases. So release here, and lower, okay. Find, when you do that, more weight presses through the feet and we find the centre of the feet, okay. So this holds, this releases, we lower, okay. That's your heaven and earth, okay. And then a couple more bits, should this way, the upper back. So I might be doing this, working on my computer or looking at my phone, and then when I'm in Wuji, I want to do this, which is called plucking up the upper back. And when I do that, the chest might expand. So I need to empty the chest, yeah. Chest is empty. So upper back is plucked up, chest is empty. Okay, so that is our structure. Okay, we put the structure into place. We start with stillness, and there's a key point here that I wish I'd known when I began. When we start with stillness, we're trying to move into rest and digest and not fight and flight. Okay, this is strange, especially the more we do, where we start to do loads of movements that get you excited, and probably do indeed push you into fight or flight unless you're very careful. But to start from this place of relaxation, yeah, I liken it to rolling your towel out on the beach. You lie down and there's nothing to do, yeah. Or you've had a long day, your head goes on the pillow, and finally, yeah, you release the stress, yeah, in those two moments. Maybe you've got other times in your life where you just sit down and you just go, release the stress. But I think also in both of those two moments, you're like, it doesn't really work with looking at your phone or reading a book, does it? That, nothing to do. We have to the brain has to go into total relaxation with no stimulus, yeah? So that's key in this Wuji stance. When you go into that position, total relaxation, move into rest and digest, away from fight and flight, yeah? Okay, the second bit is tortoise breath. Okay, so we do this with the Wuji stance. Okay, so Okay, so tortoise breath is about breathing here. Yeah. So normally when we breathe, we might fill the chest. There's also a method where you go deeper, breathe to the belly. But if you do either of those two things, that will inhibit tortoise breath. Okay, so we must regulate both the chest and the belly so that when we breathe in, they don't fill. Okay, and if that happens, there's not too many other places your lungs can expand. And what we're after is an area around here, yeah, and around here, where when you breathe in, it goes and fills here. Okay, so not here, not here, and then it may go to there. Start small, little sensation of it happening, and then as you keep working on it, it gets more and more. Okay, that's tortoise breath. It's kind of called a primal breath, and this area here is called the sort of the root of the lungs. So yeah, that's what we're doing in tortoise breath. So foundation number 1, Wuji stance, get your structure right, relax, and then add the breath. One other thing about the breath I think that is worth mentioning, and I always say, is it doesn't really matter nose or mouth, but probably better through the nose, but make it soft, long and smooth. Okay, so you don't want to hear the breath, you only just want to be able to feel it coming in and out. So just, yeah, soft, long, smooth breathing. That will help with the relaxation part as well. Okay, 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, depending on how much you practiced, you could go long with this one. Yeah. Good luck.